Hi everyone, my name is Kate and I'm a pack support representative for Ruffwear. I'm here today with one of our product designers, Timothy. And the reason that we're here today is to talk about the lockable Crux Clip. This is something that's brand new. I know we have a lot of questions around it. And so Timothy is going to really take us on a journey today. So Timothy, why don't you start by just telling us what is the Crux Clip?
Sure, yeah. So the Crux Clip is Ruffwear's answer to solving some of the problems with a standard bolt snap. A standard bolt snap is great, it's convenient, and it's pretty ubiquitous. However, they're typically made out of cast metal, so they tend to be weak, they tend to be quite heavy. They're a little bit awkward to sometimes use, and they do still, in fact, if they get into a certain position, it is possible when they are clipped into a harness for the gate to start to open up, and it can, in fact, become detached. And so back, probably about 8 years ago now, when Patrick was looking at how to solve this problem, the Crux Clip was born. And here is the original Crux Clip, which is Ruffwear's answer to a lightweight, quick, easy to use, convenient clip. And it is a wire gate that is spring loaded. But yeah, it's extremely light.
Yeah, and it's had several iterations since then. So this is the original that I'm holding right here. Yeah. Okay, tell me what's changed over time. What's different about it now?
Yeah, so as we've sold more and more leashes with Crux Clips, one of the issues that's come up with this Crux Clip specifically is that it is a wire gate. And a wire gate being spring loaded does have the potential in certain orientations to get into a position where the wire gate can become depressed, whether it's on the V-ring on the back of a harness or on the front attach chest loop. Certain specific situations, certain dog behaviors, if dogs are kind of twisting around and playing with each other, it is possible to depress the wire gate.
It can come off when you don't want it to come off.
Correct,
basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, that's quite a surprise when it does happen. And so over the years, we have, like we always do, we've continued to refine and improve the design of the Crux Clip to try and reduce those problems and those issues. And so over the years, we have gone and changed the profile just a little bit here to add in some geometry in the middle, which still maintains its lightweight, easy to use features for clipping, but it provides a little bit of a physical stop so that when the Crux Clip is attached and it gets into a position, that middle hump kind of gets in the way and prevents the wire gate from becoming depressed.
Like I said in the beginning, we're kind of on a journey, right? And so we're constantly trying to get things to a point where they're as perfect as they possibly can be. So we're at yet another iteration of this Crux Clip. And so where are we now?
Similar to a carabiner, one of our locking carabiners, what we decided to do was try and figure out if we could introduce a locking mechanism to make this into a user lockable wire gate clip.
And have we done that?
We have done that,
yeah.
So it took a lot of work, and we went through about a couple dozen different iterations. And the trick here was that we believe in sustainability, and we didn't want to just discard all of these Crux Clips. And so the challenge was to figure out how to introduce a locking mechanism to keep the wire gate from becoming depressed without having to scrap or rework all of these Crux Clips, because we do now produce quite a few Crux Clips.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because there are so many of these out there in people's hands still, and at factories, and so why let them go to waste if we have a solution? And so tell me about the solution that you've come up with.
So this is the solution. It is small but mighty.
Is tiny.
I know, right? And so this is the locking component, which has been designed here in-house. We did all of the 3D CAD work, all of the CNC machining, 3D printing to arrive at this iteration. And I can certainly pull out a couple of the steps along the way, which are not as pretty and not as functional as this one. But this is a locking component that clips onto the wire gate. and it slides up and down the wire gate, and we can take a look in the CAD to see exactly how it works.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do here is install it onto the wire gate, so you can clip it onto the one side. And if you have strong hands, you can clip it on, and then it slides up and down the wire gate. This is the unlocked position where you can still engage and open up the wire gate. And then it goes into the locked position, which keeps the
where
wire
it can
gate.
no longer be depressed.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. And this is the very first time that I'm seeing this, that I've had my hands on it, and I have to say I'm surprised because I really didn't know. I had no idea what to expect. But this feels really durable to me. Can you just tell us a little bit about the durability and everything like that?
So this locking insert is made by one of the factories that actually makes some of our side release buckles. They injection mold this in exactly the same polymer as, it's a POM polymer, which is exactly the same as on some of our side release buckles. So it's got that durability, that UV stability, that longevity over time in terms of how it functions, how it retains its strength. And so in terms of a part, it's a really good solid part.
So after time and time again of this being, pushed into the locking position, can we expect any type of deterioration or weakness?
Yeah, that's a really great question. We have designed it so that there is a flexing, moving part on the inside. So we've designed it so that it doesn't go past what's called plastic deformation, which is where, if you were to push plastic past its point where it won't return back to its original geometry, then that's pushing the plastic past its plastic deformation point. And we've designed all of the geometry so that we don't do that. So yeah, we should expect this to last for a really long time, where every cycle it is going back to its original position. Every item has wear associated with it. You get dirt on the inside, but we've done a lot of due diligence in terms of designing it so that it's nice and open. Every time it gets wet, it sort of flushes itself out. And so yeah, we're definitely expecting this to last quite a while.
Well, why don't you take us into a little bit of a deeper dive? You mentioned this program that you have that's, I think, going to show us a little bit more of the detail.
Yeah, it's fun. This is part of my world, which I work in every day, and this is 3D CAD, so three-dimensional computer-aided design. And it allows me to look at the geometry of the Crux Clip and then go through iterative designs as we're trying to solve the problem. The model that you're seeing here is of the Crux Clip, and it has a couple of components that you can move around. It simulates how it actually works. The wire gate will flex.
That was really cool.
Right? And so what this allows me to do is very precisely design the component and take into account all of the variations that can occur during manufacturing. And the other neat thing about the 3D world is I can go in here and I can slice it in half.
Oh, so we're actually seeing the inside now.
Correct. So we are actually imagining what would happen if we were to slice it right down the middle. And what that allows us to do is see what's actually going on inside when this part is sliding up and down the wire gate. So here is the unlocked position, and I can slide the lockable insert up and down the wire gate, and I can show you what happens when the wire gate is pressed open. Now this middle portion here, I'm calling it the living hinge, that actually flexes. It's really challenging to do that in the 3D CAD world. And you'll notice here that the wire gate doesn't quite go all the way down as soon as the living hinge hits, but it does flex. So as it flexes, the wire gate can in fact open all the way up. Because that was another important feature that we wanted to maintain, was how much the wire gate opens up and what you can in fact clip onto.
Okay.
All right. So that is in the unlocked position. And then when you go into the locked position, and you'll notice that on the back face of the lockable insert, the face that you actually push against, there's actually a little lock symbol.
Right, there
so
sure
you
is.
push against the lock with your thumb, and it locks.
Click.
Click, yeah. And as you push the lock forward, what happens is the living hinge pops up and over that middle hump and engages with it, and that is what keeps the lock in the locked position.
So this here on the screen is the full locked position.
That is the full locked position.
Okay.
And so you can see here how the living hinge has actually popped up and over that middle hump.
Okay.
And there's a little retaining feature that keeps the lock engaged in the locked position. And that is how we prevent the wire gate from opening.
That little hinge on that hump is what's keeping this in place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about the design. You showed me some really cool stuff. And now I'm just kind of anxious to get my hands on it a little bit more. Yeah. So can you talk to me about how to use this?
Absolutely. What we've been playing with here are color samples from some of the early molding. And what I've brought to show you today is the production tooling approval sample. This is molded in black. The actual production pieces will be in granite gray, but this will give you an idea of the mechanical performance of the locking mechanism. So I'd love for you to play with it.
So this is what the one that we produce is going to feel like.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I saw you do like a slide up with your thumb, just like that.
Correct.
So it's locked now.
Correct.
Like I just locked it.
You just locked it.
Okay, that was easy.
Yep.
That was really easy. And like if it were on my dog, then I would go, like I would, let's try unlocking. Okay, so I would clip in, and then I would push to lock.
Correct.
Cool. And I'm using 2 fingers to unlock it.
Exactly.
That seems really, really doable to me.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
That's exactly how it's designed.
Okay. And now I'm having a little bit of trouble getting it off. Okay, cool.
And that's part of the trade-off. Introducing a lockable component onto the Crux Clip, there are going to be trade-offs that we have to accept. The Crux Clip in its original design was super easy, super quick to use, and it was just a wire gate without a lock. As soon as we add a lock, there is going to be a little bit more work.
Right, there's a second step to it.
There's a second step.
Yeah.
So to lock, it's a single finger lock, thumb push, and then to unlock, there's another little design detail here. So these curved surfaces, that is very specifically and intentionally put there so that when you are grabbing on both sides with 2 fingers, you're actually pulling up and over the middle hump of the Crux Clip.
It's all in the details.
It's all in the details. And so if you just simply grab on either side and pull back, it actually pulls the lock up and over the middle hump.
Oh, I see. Okay, because you're having to get over that middle piece right there.
Correct.
Well, that is very intentional design for you right there.
Exactly.
That does make it easy.
And in the unlocked position, you actually don't have to depress the wire gate in order to clip it on because the wire gate is still free to move. So you can literally, just like the original Crux Clip, you can come in here and just clip without even having to depress the wire gate.
That was actually a lot easier than what I was trying to do. I was actually trying to press this down with my thumb, but that looked way easier.
Exactly.
Okay.
And here on the table, we're playing with these samples, but as soon as the harness or the collar is actually on the dog, it even becomes easier because there's something to pull against. So when the Crux Clip is in the locked position and the harness is on a dog, you aren't having to pull in opposite directions. You're just pulling back against the dog.
Right.
And then it becomes unlocked and easy to remove.
Well, speaking of dogs,
Speaking
we've
of
got
dogs,
one over there.
we do. We have Yodi.
I mean, we should bring Yodi over.
We should, definitely.
Yeah. We promise we are not at the vet right now, Yodi.
Right.
Okay, so here we are
Yep.
with our
Good girl, Yodi.
lockable Crux Clip, and so I would just go
Yep,
right
exactly.
on.
And
with,
then lock.
with the sound effect as well. The sound effect is very important.
Those are keys.
And then just a quick push with my thumb.
Yep, and you are locked, ready
And we're
to
locked
go.
in and ready to go.
Yep.
And you're nice and secure. And then when we're done, just a little pull.
Yep, and that's
Perfect.
it.
Perfect. Yeah. That's great. That's easy.
And there is a little bit of extra getting used to it in terms of how the wire gate depresses.
Sure.
But once you've used it for a couple walks or a couple adventures, it becomes second nature.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Yodi.
Thanks.
So is the Crux Clip what you use with Yodi?
It is. I've actually always used the Crux Clip on both front range leashes and ridgeline because we do a lot of running.
Nice.
But I have been using modified front range leashes with all of the different iterations, and I've been using the latest injection molded samples for probably about a month and a half now.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
every day.
nice. Yeah. And what's great about the Crux Clip is it's lightweight, it's low profile, it's really easy.
Super easy.
Yeah. What if this isn't what somebody is looking for? What are some other options out there?
Absolutely. And yeah, the lockable component does add a couple steps. And we do fortunately have some other leashes available. We have some rope leashes that use our small and large locking carabiners. And then we do have a series of leashes that use our talon clip.
Well, Timothy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today about the lockable Crux Clip. I'm really impressed with this piece. Just from a design perspective, I think that a lot of thought and intentionality went into the detail. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was really quite a design challenge, and we all came together and really figured out how to solve it in a Ruffwear way.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you answered all of my questions. For you guys watching, if you have any other questions regarding the lockable Crux Clip, feel free to reach out to PAX support. You can always email us. It's bark@ruffwear.com, and we'll see you soon.